Jaguar Cars Incorporated presents Body Adjustments, Part 2. As seen in Part 1 of this series, Jaguar cars have a high degree of adjustability built into their body components. Thoroughly understanding the procedures for accomplishing body adjustments not only will ensure a quality fit, but will also enhance visual appearance. Part 2 of the series illustrates the correct procedures for fitting and adjusting doors, windows, hoods, and trunk lids for the XJS. In addition, the adjustment procedure and the basic remove and replace procedures for the recently introduced XJS sunroof will be shown. Let's begin by looking at door and window adjustments. Door seal condition and fit should be determined before adjustment. The sequence of adjustment for the panel is the same as that used on the XJ6. Vertical and horizontal positioning is accomplished first. Then the in-out and tilt of the door is set, first at the hinge, then at the striker. Remove the striker to allow freedom of movement. Retain the striker with a wire loop to prevent it from falling into the door post. Remove the interior kick panel to gain access to the hinged body nuts. Then loosen all 6 hinge nuts. Use a 3/16 inch sheet of wood between the base of the door and the rocker panel to position the door vertically. Then move the door horizontally until there is an equal gap at both ends of the door. Tighten the hinge nuts in this position. Next, remove the door interior panel to gain access to the hinged door nuts. Loosen all 7 nuts, 4 on the top hinge, 3 on the bottom hinge. Adjust the in-out positioning of the front of the door matching the rocker panel and front fender while ensuring good seal contact. Then, tighten the hinge nuts. Position the rear of the door by first reinstalling the striker and then adjusting by trial and error. The striker is adjusted correctly when there is no excessive opening or closing load, good seal contact, and a match with the surrounding panels. Very limited adjustment for in-out positioning at the bottom of the front fender is available for matching the bottom contour of the door. 2 screws situated behind the rear access panel inside the fender locate and secure the fender. Door lock adjustment on the XJS is identical to the XJ6 with one exception. When positioning the solenoid, the key positions are reversed. With the key fully clockwise, move the solenoid full forward. With the key fully counterclockwise, move the solenoid full rearward. Window adjustment is possible to correct for tight or loose fitting glass. Remove the interior door panel and fully raise the glass. Loosen the top and bottom rear channel adjusting screws. Push up on the channel and tighten the top screw. Fully lower the glass and move the bottom of the channel into light contact with the glass. Tighten the bottom screw. Lightly lubricate the window channels with Teflon Super Lube or graphite lockies as required for smooth operation. Then, check the window cycle time. As with the XJ6, 1/2 of a cycle should take a maximum of 5 seconds. Be sure to consider the battery and charging system and the mechanical condition of the window regulator and motor when checking the cycle time. Next, let's look at the procedures for adjusting the hood fit. Start by removing both catch pins. Through the grill, carefully loosen all the hood-to-hinge bolts to each hinge. Position the hood vertically and from side to side. When set, tighten the hinge bolts through the grill. Exercise care to avoid damage to the grill. Fore and aft positioning is accomplished by loosening the body-to-hinge bolts. Each hinge has 2 bolts. One is accessed from above, the other from below the bumper. Reinstall the catch pins and vertically position the hood at the rear by moving the 2 catch brackets up or down. Besides the 4 catch mounting screws, each catch can be further adjusted by repositioning the mechanism, which is secured by the 2 bolts with the large washers. Adjust the 2 pins on the hood to align with the catches so that there is no side-to-side hood movement when the interior lever is closed. Adjust the bump stops to eliminate any hood vibration at speed. The release cable adjustment should be checked and reset if necessary. Back off the side-to-side connecting cable first. With the hood open, set the interior release lever to the fully closed position. Adjust the main cable so that the left catch is fully closed. Then, adjust the side-to-side cable so that the right catch is fully closed. Recheck the rear vertical and side-to-side positioning of the hood and make additional adjustments as necessary. Exercise care during these operations to avoid damage to the finish. As with the XJ6, trunk lid adjustment is best accomplished with the aid of a helper inside the trunk to loosen and tighten the hinge bolts while the exterior panel is positioned. Fore and aft and side-to-side positioning is set by loosening the trunk to hinge bolts. Front up and down positioning and tilt is adjusted by loosening the body to hinge bolts. Rear up and down positioning and release pressure is set identical to the XJ6 procedure. Adjust the striker and the catch mechanism and position the latch rod in one of the available holes to achieve trunk release at approximately 1/2 of the release lever travel. A sophisticated electrically powered sunroof has recently been introduced as an option on the XJS. The tinted glass panel can be positioned in 2 ways: the normal open and closed or rear pop-up. Inside the car, a manually operated sunshade can be positioned as desired. All the roof panel functions are controlled by a single switch located on the center console. Power supply for the electrical circuit is taken from the black connector of the ignition load relay via a white-pink wire. The existing relay is replaced with a Bosch relay seen here on the right. The 15-amp inline fuse, also seen here, is used to protect the circuit. The circuit is grounded via 2 black wires at the left center support beside the air conditioning unit. The harness is routed up the right A post to the motor, limit switches, and the step relay assembly located under the headlining cover panel next to the rear view mirror. Adjustment to the sunroof panel is possible to correct for vertical front, rear, and side fit. Both sides should be even with the roof line. The front of the sunroof panel should be positioned 1 millimeter below the roof line, and the rear should be positioned 1 millimeter above the roof line when the panel is fully closed. Position the sunshade to full open and motor the sunroof rearward for access. Remove the finisher panel securing screws and move the finisher rearward. Then motor the sunroof to the full closed position. Loosen the 3 screws at each side of the panel and make the necessary adjustments as observed earlier. The panel is shown here at full tilt for clarity. After tightening the screws, recheck the fit and make further adjustments as necessary. This same procedure is used for removing and replacing the sunroof panel, except that the roof is motored to the full tilt position and the 6 screws are removed completely. Removal and replacement of the motor is easily accomplished. The roof panel must be fully closed before starting this procedure. After removing the cover panel, disconnect the feed block connector. Then, remove the motor, which is secured by 3 mounting screws. Before installing a replacement motor in the reverse order, it must be centralized. Use the key provided to turn the motor to align the gears. Caution: the roof must be in the closed position and the motor must be centralized to provide the correct travel limits. The motor is centralized when the dot on the red gear is positioned on the center line of both gears as shown. The drive cables can be replaced after removing both the roof panel and the motor. Remove the upper slide pilot plate mounting screws and remove the pilot plate. The pilot plates are not transferable from side to side. Slide the carrier assembly out from under the guide. Then remove the upper guide. Carefully displace the block from the rear channel. The drive cable assembly can now be withdrawn from the tube. The replacement cable should be thoroughly lubricated with multi-purpose grease before installation in the reverse order. When reinstalling the pilot plate, use the alignment key, tool number JD113 as shown, to set the pilot plate and block before tightening the screws. This positions the rack to fully closed. Caution: some of the screws are threaded into plastic nuts. Exercise care to prevent stripping. The proud Jaguar handmade tradition lives on today in the XJ6 and S. Continual improvements, refinements, and the addition of new features make Jaguars more and more desirable. Technicians familiar with the procedures and techniques shown in parts 1 and 2 of this body adjustment series will help to enhance this image over the service life of the vehicle. This completes Body Adjustments Part 2, another Performance Masters service training program.